Hi, I'm Alice.
And I'm Sophie.
And we are the directors of The Joyful Web. And today we're going to have, unusual for us, a little bit of a rant.
Yeah! Monday rant.
I'm even laughing when I'm talking about having a rant. Like, I just can't take myself seriously. So what we wanted to talk about today was, it feels like we've had an influx of really spammy and annoying marketing tactics targeted at us recently. And as a result of a conversation we were having last week, we thought we'd come on a quick video and talk to you about what these spammy marketing tactics are, why they don't work, why they're really annoying, and what you can do instead. So Sophie, what spammy marketing tactic has been annoying you most this week?
The thing that annoys me the absolute most is when I get an email from a business who is, first of all, a lot of the time trying to sell me marketing. Rude. But like trying to sell me something either that our business already does or that is completely irrelevant to our business. And they send the first email, and it's not the first email that annoys me. I'm just like, okay, cool, like, bless them for trying. It's then the second email, and then the third email, and then the fourth email that's like, Sophie, you must not have read all of my other emails. I know everyone's busy right now and there's a lot of stress, but really, you need to read all my emails. I'm like, God, go away.
It's when they get like more and more passive aggressive, and they're
like, I guess you just didn't have time to read my email before. It's like, no, Cyril, I read it. It just didn't apply to me.
I'm guessing you're not interested, so this is my one last try.
Yeah, you've got one final chance to take me up on this service that means nothing to you, and I have no idea who you are or what you even do. And it's like, and I like just to be clear, like, we do understand where this is coming from, and those kind of follow-up emails are obviously done in an automated platform where they've put a sequence together, and it's, after 3 days you've not had a response, so we're going to fire off the second email. And there's nothing wrong with that, but when it's got absolutely nothing to do with the person that you're speaking to, and then you're being passive aggressive in your language, it's like, if I ever wanted to work with you before, I definitely don't want to work with you now.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It makes such a bad impression on your company as well. Like,
yeah.
If you genuinely want to do business with that person at some point in the future, they're just going to remember being annoyed by all of these spammy emails they got from you.
Yeah, there's no human connection in that level of spam, and the same applies to social media, because like, what's your biggest pet peeve around that?
My biggest pet peeve is non-targeted social media ads. So it's really easy to spend money on Facebook ads. Facebook wants you to spend money on Facebook ads as a business owner, and it will tell you at every available opportunity, this post is doing better than 90% of all of your other posts. Why not boost it to have more people? And then you hit the boost button and just pick this kind of arbitrary criteria to get more eyeballs on your content without thinking about whether it's relevant. So then your advert just ends up, you're basically then paying Facebook to put your business in front of people who aren't interested in it and have no idea why they're seeing your advert.
You're paying to annoy people.
Yeah, which is a massive waste of your money, because they're not going to click on it. And also, you're paying to annoy people, and it's the same without any kind of demographic targeting combined with your retargeting. So like, if I don't have kids, but I do buy gifts for friends and family's kids, so I'll go on a site and look at, I don't know, like rattles or baby clothes, and then I'll get targeted with loads of ads talking about my children. And I'm like, well, I don't have any. And, and I am the worst for because I'm on one woman Facebook cleanup mission, which I know is really futile, but I do it in my spare time anyway. If I see an ad that's irrelevant, I'm like, no, click on this, report advert is irrelevant. And it's the same if you don't take the time to define your audience and just kind of hope for the best. So you know, again, at kind of, at best, people just kind of ignore it and your money gets wasted. And at worst, people just get really angry because they keep seeing your company trying to advertise to them in their own space when it's not relevant. So yeah, that's one of my biggest ones. And then, like you were saying about the email messages, people doing the same on LinkedIn and just following up with like templated messages, just being like, hi, I think our companies could work together.
Yeah.
No context, no reference that they've read my profile, no comment on the business and what we do, no personalization, no human connection, just this like rushed kind of spam. And I think that's the mentality that so many marketers get themselves into. It's this like must do, like this blanket approach, get reach, get volume, get seen. And it's the same with just being like posting on social media for the sake of it, when you don't actually have anything to say. It's that mentality of just going out and reaching as many people as possible and hoping that the right person will bite and it'll work.
Yeah. And maybe they will, and maybe, you know, businesses who are using these tactics will see some level of success. But it's not just about that. It's also about like, where are you coming from when you're building your business? Like, why does your business even exist in the first place? And, you know, if you've watched any of our videos or seen any of our content, you'll know that we really, really stand for businesses being super authentic and having a mission and having a stake in the ground of what they want to achieve and see in the world and in their industry. And being really true and authentic to that, and building connections and building communities and getting people genuinely excited about their business. And these kind of tactics have the opposite effect, and they cost you time and money. So we are saying, no more, no more spammy marketing.
No. And like a really good analogy that I just thought of, because I always think of analogies.
House loves an analogy.
I love an analogy. Is like, let's say that you get like a little sponsorship slot at a conference that there's 5,000 people in the room, and you get to get up on stage in front of 5,000 people and say, this is my business, this is what we do, this is how we can help you. And maybe like 5 people in those 5,000 people go, oh, actually, yeah, that's relevant to me, because you don't know who they are, what their needs are. You know, you're just literally being like, yeah, this is an opportunity to stand up on stage and reach 5,000 people with my product. Whereas if you create an event for yourself that is targeted to your ideal customer, and you get 50 people there and you give them valuable information, and then at the end you go, who wants to buy this? You're probably going to have a way higher success rate and make more sales than you did to speaking in front of that room of 5,000 people. And it's exactly the same on social media. It's exactly the same with your email list. It is always far better to drill down, know who your audience are, know their needs, know their concerns, build that really small, hyper engaged audience that will keep buying from you over and over again.
Yeah. And I think that, you know, that's actually, again, another thing that we preach is the importance of knowing who you're talking to and speaking their language, speaking to their needs, not just, you know, blanket and expecting that everybody who runs a marketing agency is the same, or, you know, everybody who's a woman has a child, or like, you know, like, and it because actually it can also have like the effect of being quite insulting if you're coming in front of someone who really doesn't identify in that way. Which kind of leads me on to some examples of how the same situation being targeted by an email from someone that I don't know, or a LinkedIn message from somebody that I don't know, has had the opposite effect. Recently, we've been looking to build up our content producer base, and the people that we work with who are going to be writing for us on different sort of topics. And lo and behold, into my LinkedIn inbox came a video from a content producer, and she'd looked at our website. She knew exactly what we stood for. She knew how she could impact us, and it took her, you know, probably about 20 minutes of research, and then a couple of minutes to do a really rudimentary video. And I was like so impressed, because not only did I see that she'd actually put a little bit of effort into finding out who we were and showing that she really cared and engaged with what we stood for, but also I got to see who she was, and I got to see what she was all about in just those couple of minutes on video. And it's actually way quicker to do a video than it is to spend ages writing emails. But and that, for me, that's always one of the most effective ways of getting across to somebody, is just to do a little video introduction of who you are and why you care about the business that you're approaching.
Mm-hmm. Whenever we talk about this, I always think of that scene in Legally Blonde where instead of writing her Harvard entry essay, she sends in her video of her in the pool.
We actually recommended our client do that for a pitch that they were putting forward, and Alice was like, watch Legally Blonde, see how Elle does it, and then,
That's my approach to everything in life. Don't know what to do? Watch Legally Blonde. What can Elle do? Do it that way.
So yeah, if you've got any doubts, stick Legally Blonde on.
but yeah, like it's exactly what you just said. We do the same to companies sometimes. We ended up getting to pitch stage from a cold LinkedIn message because we found a company that we really wanted to work with, and we wrote them a personalized LinkedIn message about how great we thought they were, how we thought we could help them, what we're like, basically saying kind of, sorry for the cold approach, but your business has got us really excited.
Yeah.
This and this reason. And immediately they were like, yeah, great. This is brilliant. Let's meet for a coffee. So you can still use those tactics. We're not saying don't use those tactics, but we're saying personalize them and really consider who you're talking to and what value you can add to them.
Yeah, and I think that's it as well, because in the process of we found this business really inspiring, and we could see immediately some huge areas that they needed support with. And again, we didn't say, you need support, you need us. We said, what you're doing is fantastic, and these are some areas that if you looked at those, it could be even more engaging of what you're up to, could really make more of an impact. And I think that's the point. Like, look for impact, look for how you can make an impact, but also how the business that you're interested in is already making an impact, and talk to that. Don't talk to like, oh, let me tell you about my company. Like, if I don't know why I should know about your company, why would I care about your company? I think that's kind of the sort of rule 101 when it comes to communication.
Yeah. And exactly the same goes when you're thinking about Facebook ads. And we're going to be running some training on this soon. Don't think about like, oh, for this amount of money, I could reach 500,000 people. Instead, think, how can I build an audience of like 20,000 people who I know are going to be really interested in what I have to say, based on my own research, based on my own customer knowledge, and then you build that, and then you test it, rather than just trying to cast this massive net wide and hoping that someone bites. So as well as this resulting in a higher success rate, and it really builds a great reputation of your company, because it shows that you're being considered. It shows that you're thinking about who you're talking to, and it shows that you're thinking about those people as people and not just prospects on a list that you're just spamming all of your content out to, in the hope that there might be that one person that goes, oh yeah, all right.
Sure, why not? And again, there's absolutely nothing, if anything, it's massively encouraged to follow up if you don't get a response from an email or a message that you send out. But again, it's about doing so in a way that's really personalized to that contact. And even if you're using sequencing on a platform like HubSpot, again, it's a brilliant platform to be doing this with, and it saves huge amounts of time. So we're not saying don't do that. We're saying be considered with the individual to which you're using those tactics with, and make sure that your whole sequence is, it really actually doesn't take much to just personalize a sequence with a 1 or 2 sentences that's about that specific person, not just copy paste the sequence to every single one of the contacts that you're contacting.
There we go.
The moral of the story is Be human in marketing.
Be human and appreciate that your audience are human and get to know them as human and talk to them as human.
Yeah.
Because
And you'll get such a better result, but you'll also have so much more fun in how you're communicating your brand, how you're building your sales pipeline. Like, you'll value each and every one of those people who are on your list so much more when you actually understand who they are and what they stand for, and how you as a business and you as a leader, or you as a, you know, an employee, can make an impact in their lives. Like that's what gets, for me anyway, and a lot of our clients, like, that's what gets them excited about going to work every day. It's not about numbers, it's about impact.
Yeah. And marketing at the end of the day is just communication. So, you know, don't be intimidated by it. Like we always say, just think about how you can communicate with people in the most effective human way.
Yeah. And if you need any support with that,
here we are. Thank you so much for watching.
Thank you. Have a wonderful day.
We'll see you soon.
Bye.